Alright, well, we'll go for this. I mean, it's gonna wipe the board, I suppose, regardless. Avalanche is a big blowout for us. Withering Wail, not as much. Hey everyone, RaptorSpank here. Today we have another episode of On the Grind, the show where I cover a deck I'm playing in Ranked. I'll break down the deck, a couple of flex spots, and some basic mulligans. Then we'll put the deck through some ranked matches and review how we do afterwards. This episode I'm looking at BSI Go Hard Midrange. The deck uses a wealth of card draw in order to get the most out of the spell Go Hard / Pack Your Bags. We also utilize high value cards like TF and Gangplank. The deck combines well-costed aggressive tempo pieces with powerful control cards. This makes the list kind of a mid-range deck, kind of a tempo deck. Now let's look at the champion package. This starts with 2 copies of Elise. The 2 cost 2/3 with Fearsome. Attack, summon an attacking Spiderling. Level up, round start, you have 3+ other spiders. Then she becomes a 4/3 with Challenger, and other spider allies have Challenger and Fearsome. Her champion spell is Crawling Sensation, the 1 cost slow spell. If an ally died this round, summon 2 Spiderlings. This is an aggressive champion that can attack relatively safely, and builds board presence / chumps to sack to Glimpse / Fortune Croaker. The champion spell can also help to slow our opponents down by building a decent board on its own, so it's a pretty good aggro piece that can play fairly well into the mid-range as well. Then we have 3 copies of Twisted Fate. The 4 costs 2/2 with Quick Attack. Play Destiny card. He levels up once he's seen you draw 8+ other cards, and then he becomes a 3/3 in each round. The first 3 times you play a card, I play a Destiny card. His champion spell is Pick a Card, 3 cost Burst Spell, shuffle a card from your hand into your deck to draw 3 at the next round start. This is one of our primary payoffs. Go Hard is our main win condition, but this is our backup. Since we have a ton of card draw in the deck, it's fairly easy to level him, and we have a lot of cheap spells to get the most out of his leveled up form. He also has tons of utility, particularly having things like Red Card to board wipe against decks like Discard Aggro, and once he's level 2, his utility is just insane. And his champion spell also helps to achieve that, or just to find more Go Hard, so it's an all-around great card for the deck. And then finally, we have 1 copy of Gangplank, the 5 cost 5/5 with Overwhelm. Summon a Powder Keg, and then he levels up once you've dealt damage in 5 different rounds, and then he becomes a 6/6, and every round start he summons a keg. And then whenever he attacks, he deals 1 to all enemies and the enemy nexus. This is basically a one of massive payoff for the deck. There's lots of ways to level him up, and with Overwhelm and the attack trigger, it makes him a single card threat, essentially. So he's a great way to close out the game against most other decks. And the kegs just work really well with Go Hard and Pack Your Bags, as well as other things like Red Card, etc. So it's just an all-around great card for the deck. But you, generally speaking, want to wait to play him until you've already leveled him up. Now let's look at the follower package. This starts with 3 copies of Jagged Butcher. The 1 costs 2/2. Plunder, grant me +1/+1. This is a great value 1 cost card that curves into things like Fortune Croaker very well. It's not impossible to land him as a 3/3, but we're not really designed to do that, so often cases this is just a 1 mana 2/2, but that has a lot of value for a deck. And if we can land him as a 3/3, he can block Fearsome units, which can be pretty relevant. Then we have 3 copies of Pool Shark. The 1 costs 1/2. When summoned, draw 1 at the next round start, and give it Fleeting. This is a solid 1-drop body for blocking. It helps us draw through our deck as well. It is a little bit risky to play him at low mana, since we do have a number of cards that we really don't want to lose, like Twisted Fate or one of Gangplank. So if he hits that on round 2, that's pretty disastrous. But generally speaking, you really can get a lot of value out of this, even playing it on turn 1. But it's definitely one of the 1-drops that you're more willing to hold. And it is really good for once we start going off with Go Hard, because this will help draw us towards more, and works really well for leveling up Twisted Fate. So it basically just does everything we really want in our deck for 1 mana, so that's really strong. Then we have 3 copies of Dreadway Deckhand. The 2 cost 2/2. When summoned, summon a Powder Keg. This is a value 2-drop, since it's a 2/2 for 2. And it comes with another body that, while it can't block, our opponents will often pull it, so sometimes that will just soak an extra attack to save us some health. And if the keg lives, we can use it to boost the damage output of our many skills / spells like Go Hard. Then we have 3 copies of Fortune Croaker. The 2 cost 2/3. Play, deal 1 to me, and an ally to draw 1. This is another unit that draws us through our deck, so it does all of that great stuff that we want for Twisted Fate or Go Hard. and it is another value 2-drop since it's essentially a 2-2 for 2. We have no way to actually heal it, so it will always be a 2-2 for 2. It will never be a 2-3, but that doesn't really matter in our deck since we really just want the card draw, and a 2-2 for 2 is good enough for what we're looking to do. It can be a bit costly, however, because sometimes the only way to play it is to kill something else that we have, and that's not ideal. But there are a number of times they'll be essentially bricked in your hand because you don't want to kill your only other unit like a Twisted Fate or something with it. But generally speaking, it's a great value card for the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Doombeast, the 3-cost 3-2. Nightfall, drain 2 from the enemy Nexus. This is a powerful 3-drop. It can block Fearsome and also burn our opponent while also gaining us life. It does all of those things for us, which is really, really great. So it can be used to close out damage against our opponent. It can be used to buy us time against aggro. And there's some matchups where being able to block a Fearsome unit or simply having 3 power to trade with something is very, very relevant. So this is just a really great value card for our deck as well. Then we have a 1 of Chronicler of Ruin, the 4-cost 3-3. Play, kill an ally, then revive it. This is a solid 1 of that can double value summon effects like, say, Zap Sprayfin. Then we get to draw 2 cards off of it. We can get 2 summons off a Dreadway deckhand. We can get 2 card draws off a Pool Shark. We can trigger Plunder after already playing a Jagged Butcher. There's just a lot of really neat effects we can get off of using this. So it's not a core idea of our deck, which is why we're only running 1 of these, but there are a number of useful interactions, and just in general, it's a solid body on its own, since it is a 3-3. Finally, we have 3 copies of Zap Sprayfin, the 4-cost 2-2 with Elusive and Attune. When summoned, draw a spell that costs 3 or less from our deck. This is another great draw engine that pulls low-cost utility cards / go hard out of our deck. Depending on how many cards we have in this range, it will often hit go hard, or if it doesn't, the number 2 or the top 2 hits they can hit is go hard or Glimpse Beyond, which Glimpse Beyond can help us find go hard. So generally speaking, this is really good for our go hard engine, and it can also get us closer to leveling a Twisted Fate since it does draw us the card. So that's all really good, and Elusive helps it to force damage through to get that little extra bit to close out against our opponent. Now let's look at the spell package. This starts with the main card of the deck, 3 copies of Go Hard, the 1-cost slow spell, drain 1 from a unit, and shuffle 2 copies of me into your deck. Once you've cast me 3 times, transform all copies of me everywhere into Pack Your Bags. This is our primary win condition. Tons of draw means constantly pulling copies to repeatedly use them, to get to Pack Your Bags, and then to use Pack Your Bags many times over, to control / blast our opponent since it deals 5 damage to our opponent's Nexus, and all of their units. If we have kegs, this is even more damage, so it can board wipe against most decks. And just in general, it's a lot of damage to do to your opponent. So if you build up a nice board state, then wipe your opponent's field and deal damage to their Nexus, then you can swing with everything, and it can close out very, very quick against their opponent. And like I said, with so much card draw, we can keep triggering this over and over again. And then it just serves as great turn 1 removal, essentially, against the better aggro decks in the format, since it can kill most 1-drops that you'll find out of burn decks. So it's really good for that, and it gains us life, and if we can boost it with Keg, it can kill even more things and gain us even more life. So there's just a lot of value we get out of this card. Then we have 3 copies of Glimpse Beyond, the 2-cost fast spell, kill an ally to draw 2. This is another key piece to our draw engine. We have lots of units to sack, and we can always block and then sack them to Glimpse Beyond and get all the value out of them, but things like the Elite Spiderlings, or the Kegs, or just some of our units, when we no longer need them, we can just trade them into 2 more card draws, which can help us get to our Go Hards and just keep our engine running, or even just level Twisted Fate up. It just does so many things for our deck. Then we have 2 copies of Unspeakable Horror, the 2-cost fast spell, drain 1 from anything. Nightfall, create a random non-champion Nightfall card in hand. This is a good, cheap answer to aggro that also gains us life, and it can always go face to close out the game. It can be also used to create more tools in hand fairly easily, since it only costs 2 mana. We can often cast something first and then get some powerful Nightfall card in hand, which can just be a win condition like Cygnus or something like that. The big downside here is by running these 2 copies, while it does improve our aggro matchup, it does make our Zap Sprayfin worse because they can draw this instead of Go Hard, but it is a relatively small downside. Then we have 3 copies of Salvage, the 4-cost burst spell, toss 2, draw 2. This is our best draw spell in the deck since it draws us 2 cards and at burst speed for reasonably cheap. It's a little bit expensive, but for what it does, it's definitely worth the cost. So it's really great at leveling up Twisted Fate, and since you can do it at burst speed, it's great to do in response to removal that might kill him, for example. So it's just an all-star card for the deck. Then we have 1 copy of Crumble, the 5-cost slow spell, kill an ally to kill a unit or destroy a landmark. The problem here is that while this is hard removal, and hard removal that catches things like Star Spring, which is the big reason we're running it, it happens at slow speed, and it's extremely fragile removal, because they can either counter the spell, they can protect the unit with Bastion or whatever we're hitting, or they can just kill our unit, because we have to kill our unit for this spell to resolve. So if they kill our unit in response to Crumble, it'll fizzle the whole spell. So this is very hard to pull off, which is why I'm only running one of them. We have a lot of card draw, so the big reason to run this is to deal with Star Spring. So I think it's fairly easy for us to hit it or find it against that deck because of how much card draw we have. So I'm willing to take the risk a little bit more because this is a very bad card oftentimes. So we're not running a ton of it, but it is a great, clean answer to Star Spring. Then we have 2 copies of Vengeance, the 7-cost fast spell, kill a unit. This is just simply put a clean, catch-all, single-target removal spell. It can deal with any threat. It's very costly, yes, but it's a very powerful, one of the most powerful single-target removal spells in the game. And finally, we have 1 copy of the Ruination, the 9-cost slow spell, kill all units. Just like Vengeance, a nice, clean, powerful board wipe. Deals with all units no matter their size, and with so much card draw, it's still relatively easy to find this, even with only 1 copy. Now let's talk a little bit about the flex spots for the deck. There's a big option to play with numbers with this deck. There's a lot of things that aren't necessarily great. Like I said, the Unspeakable Horror can be a big downside with Zap Sprayfin, so you can always cut the 2 of them to add 1 Crumble or 1 Ruination, or well, to add both in that case, 1 of each. I'm definitely more sold on the extra Ruination than, say, the extra Crumble, but you can mess around with numbers like that. You can also play around with some of the other numbers, increase Chronicler or drop Chronicler to increase other cards. You can drop all of the Elise for a bunch of Gangplanks. You can drop the Gangplank for a 3rd Elise to improve the aggro package. So there's a lot you can do with the numbers. But you can also drop the Unspeakable Horrors for 2 Hired Guns. The 2 cost 2/3. When summoned, grant the strongest enemy vulnerable. This basically improves our Zap Sprayfin, like I mentioned, since we lose those spells that aren't ideal to draw off him. And then it has a solid body on its own at 2/3 for 2. That's really, really good. And it can serve as removal by giving vulnerable to one of our opponent's units, and then we can force it to block and kill it that way. So that's really, really strong for the deck as well. So this is just a great tempo piece. We can also swap the Horrors for 2 Monkey Idols. The 3 cost 0/5 with a mobile. Round start, deal 2 to me, and summon a Powder Monkey. This is a good aggro/defensive option, so it's a little more both ends of the spectrum. And it's really great at leveling Gangplank up. So if you are going to go 3 Gangplanks instead of running the 2 Elise 1 Gangplank, this is a great include for turbo leveling your Gangplank. Though if you are only running 1 of Gangplank, it's kind of not worth it for that. And you can also just swap the 2 for Petty Officer as well, since that's another great value unit. The 3 cost 3/1, play, summon a Powder Keg, or a random 1 cost follower. It's a nice go wide piece. It's a little flimsy into control since Petty Officer only has 1 health, but it's 3 power, so it's really great at blocking or trading with strong units, so it will improve your mid-range matchup quite a bit by going wide like that, and it can always grab kegs for boosting damage spells as well, so it is a nice flexible piece for the deck. You can also drop the Crumble plus 2 Unspeakable Horrors for 3 Withering Wails, the 5 costs fast spell, deal 1 to all enemies, and heal your Nexus 3. This is another great answer to aggro, especially discard aggro, so it essentially means that you're almost always going to have either Twisted Fate or Withering Wail to deal with the really powerful turn out of it, and Withering Wail can even happen on turn 3 if you don't play much else. So this just makes sure that you definitely have a board wipe for those matchups, and the life gain can be incredibly useful, especially against aggro, but even in non-aggro matchups like mid-range, it can be very, very beneficial or life-saving. And then you can always run the nab package, which is a little bit odd in this deck since we do kind of want to draw our own cards for go hard, but it is still very strong, and it will typically boost your mid-range and control matchups where they have extremely high value cards for you to steal, even if it's not good for you. Stealing like a Harrowing from Manivia Control can be very, very important. So in this case, if you want to go this route, it's probably best to replace the 3 Dreadway deckhands with 3 Black Market Merchants. The 2 cost 2/1. When you draw an enemy card, reduce its cost by 1, and plunder nab 1. This steals value from your opponents while curving out well on your own. The cost reduction on cards is also very strong, especially when you combine it with other nab effects. but it is very fragile on its own since it only has 1 health, so that does die to a lot of the Shadow Isle control decks in the format right now. And then if you're going to do this, I would also replace the 2 Unspeakable Horrors and then possibly Crumble with 2 to 3 Pilfered Goods, the 3-cost burst spell, nab 1, plunder, nab 1 more. This gives you even more enemy cards at a relatively cheap price at only 3 mana, and if you can get cost reduction off Merchant, this is incredibly powerful. But this does increase your ability to level Twisted Fate. Same with Black Market Merchant, which why the nab package can be so good, is that it does make your Twisted Fate a lot better, but it does make your Go Hard a little bit less effective if you are dropping the deck hands. And then you always run the risk the opponent's cards might just be bad, or not even necessarily bad, but bad for your deck or your strategy, so it is a little more subject to chance, but it can be very, very powerful with this deck. Now let's talk about some basic mulligans. Our goal is generally a hand that combines aggressive units with control aspects. So Go Hard is one of our best cards. You basically want to keep it in almost any matchup, at least keep 1. And then multiples are great against aggro matchups. Which basically for the aggro decks you want low cost units and removal. But low cost on both ends. Like Vengeance and Ruination aren't going to be good against aggro, but Go Hard is phenomenal. And as mentioned, Twisted Fate can be fantastic. It's especially just a huge blowout against discard aggro because most of their units have 1 health, so red card just wipes their board, which especially if you can play Twisted Fate on turn 4 before they get to play a card, you can wipe their board before Crowd Favorite comes down, and that is very, very massive. Then Midrange is where you want your hard removal package, like Vengeance or Ruination, and then you want value units like Doom Beast, and also card draw can be very effective. Control is where you want the card draw as well, but you also want your aggro package in that matchup, so you can try to force as much damage through early as possible. Elise is very strong here, for example, so that's how you want to play that matchup. And that's the deck for this episode. You can find the deck code as well as a deck link in the description below if you want to try the deck out for yourself. Now let's jump into the matches. Alright, the mirror match. Interesting, interesting. And this one's also running the same spread of champions, so I guess this version is taking over a little bit. I've seen versions that run no GP, I've seen versions that run all GP instead of Elise, so interesting to see. Maybe we do want to keep Zap. You know what? I think I'm gonna keep this. We're gonna try to go aggro here. And Fortune Croaker should draw us some good cards to get us there, but Zap Sprayfin should help us find our Go Hards, so let's see if he has the Butcher. If he has no play here, we'll swing. He has a play. Go Hard, okay. Well, that's a little unfortunate because we'll lose Jagged Butcher, but I think that's still probably worth doing. That was a bad play from them, though, because they should have taken the 2 damage and then done Go Hard, but they have Go Hard, we don't, so that is a bit of a disadvantage. Okay. Yeah, I'm still going to. Yeah, I'm gonna toss away this Jagged Butcher just draw card. We need to find some more relevant cards. I think we'll trade. I mean, we got a little bit of damage in, but that's not really how we're gonna win this matchup, I don't think. Ooh, tempting to bang for that, but we will play the Pool Shark. Alright, I mean, we'll try to kill this. What's he got? Oh, interesting. Alright, yeah, I mean, that'll happen. Our opponent's probably in better shape than us, I'd say, right now, since they've already got 1 Go Hard off, and neither of us have found particularly relevant cards, to be fair, but
like a fish in water.
Well, I think we'll play the Elise.
I pull the strings.
As tempting as it was to match the Zap Sprayfin, I think this is probably for the best. Alright, yeah, we'll just pass. What's he got? Go Hard to drain, okay. What's the chance that he can actually kill Elise next turn? I don't think it's that high, but again, he's very, very close on the Go Hard to leveling it up or getting Pack Your Bag, so that's the big concern we have going right now. I think we're okay with that. Yeah, get 3 damage through. Not bad. Can play Zap 2 potentially.
Deal me in.
If we're gonna lose her anyways, we might as well draw cards off her. Of course, that means we're gonna lose our Spiderling too, but it's a 1/1. It's not really that relevant. What? All right, that's wild. Oh man, we are having some intensely bad luck here. Yeah, my opponent is absurdly favored in this matchup, or in the match right now. Well, at least I should be able to deal with his Twisted Fate now.
Never lost a fair game, or played one.
That said, I can't do that much here, so okay. I don't think there's any way he actually levels up Twisted Fate though.
Dead in their tracks.
I don't think we play anything else here. Not yet, anyways. Kind of want to leave this Glimpse Beyond open. Not that it really matters. Okay, so I don't think Go Hard has gone to Pack Your Bags yet. He's only used it twice. Okay, so he can't kill Twisted Fate here. Now, do we want to salvage? I think we do. Oh, well, there's one of our Go Hards. Oh, Lord. Man, this game is going so embarrassingly badly. Actually insane how little success we're having here. There we go, finally. They do exist.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Okay, so that's not going to kill Twisted Fate. That's good. Okay, so we don't do anything else. Okay, so we'll play Pool Shark then. I think. As tempting as it is to play Doom Beast here, actually, I suppose we'll swing first. Okay, get some damage through. I mean, it's possible Doom Beast could get there, but ooh, now we're pretty much. Okay, we'll fire this first. So that he can't kill Twisted Fate with Go Hard. So I have a lot of options here. I think we're going to try to level Twisted Fate up, maybe? And play Pool Shark instead of Doom Beast.
Watch the ball, folks.
Very questionable, though. Okay, he's going to go for that. Well, we are going to sack it in response to draw some cards now. Which gets us to 6, and then we draw 2 more next turn. So Twisted Fate is leveling up. That's the important part here. But he does have Pack Your Bags now. Actually, no, if he has Pack Your Bags, then okay. Alright, we're leveling up. We're good. Ooh, that, however, not not quite as nice.
I guess you can win them all.
Well, Twisted Fate is leveled up. We'll see how much that matters. Well, that is unfortunate. I guess, do we match it? I don't know if it's actually worth matching. Well, yeah. At least we'll get a card draw out of this.
Eyes open.
Unfortunate, but did what we could. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Alright, that's the first bit of good news.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
I mean, we kind of just have to assume our units are dead. So if he swings, we will block.
I don't change fate that I can see it.
Okay. I mean, that'll hurt. He will take the health lead here. And then we're just going to play Twisted Fate next turn and red card, I think.
Only fools play the hand they're dealt.
Oh wait, right, he doesn't do it off play anymore. Does he have Pack Your Bags? Seems hard to believe that he would not. Yep, of course. Is it worth vengeancing? I don't think so. Okay, so I think we're going to deckhand into Doom Beast, maybe?
Always on the run.
Although, maybe we're better off with this. Now we're gonna deckhand plus Doom Beast. Try to gain us a little bit more life. Okay, well he also has Doom Beast, but we have a couple in hand. And we're gonna gain more than he did. But, like I said, our opponent's kind of off to the races more than we are. They found their go-hards, we did not. They've dealt with all of our Twisted Fates, which is highly unfortunate, but doing what we can. Okay, so block here, block there, go down to 5. Unfortunate that I can't actually draw Fortune Croaker now, which was going to be my play, was Fortune Croaker into Doom Beast, but we'll play Zap. Go hard? Oh, Lord. Oh, man. The luck has not been with us today. Alright, well, we will try to drain our opponent a bit.
There's nothing to fear.
And, yeah, I guess maybe draw a card?
I don't change fate. I can see it.
Do I just hit him with Unspeakable Horror, maybe? I think we do. I think we'll just drain some from him. So he's what? Used 2 Vengeances, so it's a question of whether he has a bunch of go hards or. Ooh. Oh, we can't actually play both of these though. Unfortunately.
Suppose I should leave you.
I mean, what are the chances that he can go hard 3 times plus pack your bags this turn, right? I mean, the chances can't be that high, right? I'm scared. Unfortunately, Doom Beast is a Nightfall trigger, so I can't actually Chronicler it. But, that said... alright, well... you know... I mean, gotta try for it, right? I think this... I mean, this does... Oh! What? That was... interesting? I think that was a premature scoop. I mean, we'll take the win, but... I mean, they weren't dead that turn. Because the trigger would wipe the board. But... it doesn't actually... Actually, it doesn't even wipe the board. So, yeah, he would have still been fine. So, that's a really, really weird scoop. But, yeah, alright. I mean, we got there. The deck definitely betrayed us pretty heavily, honestly. So, I'm surprised that worked that well for us. But, yeah, alright. I mean, we'll take a win. On to the next, I guess. Alright. Draven, Jinx, discard aggro. And they're running Teemo. Interesting. I'm going to guess 2 Draven, 1 Teemo? I mean, if you go down Jinxes, you're actually crazy. I mean, it's the best part of that deck. Okay, these are all slow cards we do not want to use. But we'll keep a unit to play because if we have nothing to do, we're going to be in bad shape. Alright, Twisted Fate. Perfect. That's what we want. And we have play priority on turn 4. So if they go wide, we can answer that on turn 4. Which is really what we want. Big downside, no turn 1 play, no go hard. And this is one of the more punishing starts for them to have, to really punish not having that. But yeah, there we go. Would have loved the go hard, but not the worst. Yeah, we'll play this. And then next turn we can Pool Shark plus Fortune Croaker, potentially. I don't know that we will 100% do that, because it's not that beneficial for us. Alright, we'll just pass. We don't want to trade this with House Spider, we want to trade it with Legion Saboteur. Oh lord. Okay, well, that's not going to happen anymore. Only these two can trade with them. Okay. I mean, that's still less damage than we would have taken. So, I mean, now we'll take 3, 4, potentially more. We'll see. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Where do you stand on course?
Not a lot we can do here. Okay, that's weird. We'll keep the barrel because we kind of want our opponent to attack it. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Unspeakable Horror would be really good, but
You'll never see it coming.
at least it doesn't seem like he has a wide effect like Arena Battlecaster or Visions. Because I don't think there's anything he could have up here that would allow him to... Oh, I suppose maybe he could have another Poro Cannon plus Visions. That would be the scariest thing. Oh yeah, this is the right play for sure. Oh, this is perfect. So we'll take a chunk here, but now Twisted Fate will clear their entire board, which is obviously ideal. And again, we have priority, so if they're holding... Oh, man. Oh, I could not have asked for better. Alright, red card. Wipe the board. If they're holding crowd favorite, it won't matter.
Who says I don't share?
The question is... what else does he have?
Lady Luck
We'll
is
attack like this.
smiling.
At least he does not have Jinx this turn. That is important. Alright, we'll kill the Daring Poro. Gain us some life. Get our Go Hard engine going. Alright, this is perfect. He really needed the wide board state. I was really worried about a Jinx. Unless he didn't play Jinx because he was worried about us killing it, but that seems unwise. Ooh, we'll zap Sprayfin here because we'll either find a Go Hard, which would be great, or we'll be able to use Unspeakable Horror. Ooh, Visions is nasty, but actually not that bad considering we have Unspeakable Horror. Alright, well, Glimpse. Glimpse Beyond, not exactly ideal. Ooh, speaking of not exactly ideal, yeah. Can he discard that card?
Smile! It's called gunplay.
We'll block, and I guess we'll draw cards off that. That's our best play, I think. We're really looking for an answer to Jinx, because she will be a problem. Okay, I think this is the best play. There is some concern with that. Go hard. That's perfect. Alright, what does he have? Can he pitch this hand? Yes, he can.
We're doing it!
And he could potentially empty his hand again fairly easily. Or he could definitely empty his hand this turn.
Through the coral!
Looks like trouble.
I guess we don't want to attack with those, so we'll just
Lady
attack
Luck
with
is
Twisted Fate.
smiling.
And I guess we'll fire another Go Hard up. What needs to die to Go Hard the most? Yeah, we'll kill one of the flyers. So we're gonna go down to 11. This Jinx is very concerning. don't think I can actually... Yeah, I can't actually use this Glimpse Beyond, unfortunately. I don't think so anyways. I think we just have to pass, hope for the best.
Now it's a party.
Alright, well I can level up Twisted Fate at least. Oh, that's scary. That's okay. So we need to cast multiple spells here.
Why are you here?
Okay, yeah, no, can't. Alright, so, draw cards. Levels him up. Can I cast enough spells to make this work? So then I need to do this,
Trust your instincts.
this, and that'll do a fair bit of damage. Doesn't kill her though, and that's what we really need to have happen. Although, actually, could kill her. Ooh, perfect, that worked. Alright, never mind, we have this. Okay, we are in great shape. Because now I can play Pool Shark, which will kill Jinx. And that is my best play here. I think. Although, maybe we're better off playing Butcher because of how many cards we have. We kind of do have a ton of cards, don't we? Alright, and that kills the Jinx. So what's his last card? That was such an incredible turn. Oh, and we found another Go Hard. That's great. Alright, we'll just swing straight in. Yeah, wow. Wow, that was incredible. And, yeah, I think that just showcases the strength of this deck into that specific matchup. And particularly with the perfect turn 4 Twisted Fate. They built quite a board state twice, and we just wiped it out every time. Definitely one of our better matchups, but yeah, that was just a perfect showcase of what this deck can do when it gets working. We didn't even get to pack your bags. That's the funny part. But yeah, perfect. Leveled up Twisted Fate. Still one of the strongest champions to level up in the game. So yeah, on to the next. Alright, Banner Scouts. This ought to be interesting and also a little bit scary. I think this is where we're looking to be the control deck. I think that's going to be better for us. Ooh, Ruination is great. Do I want to keep Fortune Croaker? I think I could do better than Fortune Croaker. We'll keep Ruination because it's amazing into this specific matchup, and then Elise should also be fairly solid. We got a turn 1 play. That's not too bad. Vengeance is also fairly good. I mean, we kind of don't want to play Pool Shark here because chances are we don't want to play whatever he draws. So if they just pass, I'll just pass.
New recruit reporting in.
Okay, well, now I'm just going to take the hit. I don't think it's worth it. If it was a Fleet Feather, I would have traded Pool Shark any day. Well, it wouldn't have traded it, but I would have played Pool Shark.
There's nothing.
Alright, let's see if he has Bright Steel Protector. I think that's pretty much one of the only drops he could have this turn that prevents Elise from attacking. Okay, Iron Gun's not that bad. I mean, we're gonna lose this Spiderling, but it's still worth attacking, getting that extra bit of damage in. I mean, we wouldn't get the Spiderling if we didn't attack, so we might as well do this. This is a bad play on our opponent's part, probably, unless they're... Well, I mean, yeah, if I had Go Hard right now, Cytherea dies, and that's obviously really good for me. So, they really shouldn't have taken that risk. In this case, they're not going to get punished for it, but risky business. Nothing they have right now will kill this Elise, so we're not even going to bother. Worst case scenario, which, yeah, I was going to say, is probably going to happen, is the Misfortune. Okay, so she's dead regardless. So if she's dead regardless, let's play the Fortune Croaker and draw the card now. That's also not bad. We'll see how our opponent attacks. That's the real question. I assume he's going to trade Cythria into Elise, maybe? Now that we... Well, any of them could have traded into it. Oh, he's not even going to trade. Got it. I think trading is probably worth more than glimpsing now. So we'll just take the trade, play Pool Shark. Pool Shark's better off now that we'll have 4 mana next turn, or 5 total. I suppose we're starting to reach the point that we just want to bank 3. Well, no, we're still 3 turns off. Or not next turn or the turn after, but the turn after that. Okay, we got another Pool Shark. Interesting. Am I willing to lose Pool Shark? Maybe not. At this point, having extra blockers is pretty strong. It's tempting to play Zap and try to get Go Hard, but I think this is better. We're probably going to play Croaker here, too, and just ping. Even though that means they won't actually be able to do damage. Oh, I suppose we could Unspeakable Horror to kill Hired Gun. Depends. Depends what happens. If he plays Grizzled Ranger here, okay, we're going to kill Grizzled Ranger. To make it harder for him to level up this Misfortune, hopefully. There's no guarantee, but we can't take the risk. We have to buy ourselves enough time to get this Ruination off. So we are probably at the point we need to bank mana on this next turn. Ooh, Gangplank could be good eventually. Oh no, never mind. We're going to lose our Gangplank. Yeah, I mean it's not worth playing him here. That's the downside with Pool Shark, is that you can have games like this, where it's you lose something good no matter what happens. Ideally, we would like to get a Glimpse Beyond off and then Ruination next turn. We'll see what our opponent does, though. Quinn is one of the worst things that could happen for us this turn. Okay, that is the best thing that could happen to us this turn. That's perfect. We didn't want Relentless Pursuit. We did not want Quinn. Those would have all been very bad for us. So the fact that he just played a 3-mana 2/4 with Challenger is whatever. Like, that just guarantees they can kill one of our units, but it doesn't matter. They're all going to die anyways. We're planning to board wipe next turn. Now, the downside is he could single combat in response to Glimpse. Okay, perfect. That is so perfect. Alright, we are golden. He's playing out his hand, which means this Ruination is going to get quite a lot. We can block the 3 powers. So we can block here, block here. We'll take 5, which is a lot, but isn't that bad. And then we will draw some cards. And we do have this Doom Beast to gain us a little bit of life back, although it will be a little bit. Ooh, we did find Twisted Fate now. I mean, we do have to Ruination next turn regardless. And again, unfortunately, we're losing Gangplank. The question is, how quickly can our opponent rebuild? Oh no. Why would you do that? Oh, yeah, come on, man. I'm going into the 9-mana turn. Why would you do that? I mean, it's very possible we take a ton. I mean, he has 3 cards in hand. They can be very powerful. Best case scenario... Oh, okay, yep. See, that's one of the better things. Actually, you know what? I'm okay with that. That's totally fine. I have Vengeance mana next turn. Although, we'll see what our opponent does. Okay. Yes. Twisted Fate, gold card. This is risky because he can lose. He can die to Fleet Feather.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Okay. So we'll just play Jagged Butcher.
I'll burn for all I've done.
I don't know if that was actually a smart idea. Okay, we're good. Twisted Fate lives here. I mean, we're not great, but Twisted Fate lives here. Oh, no. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Now you lose both. Alright. This is very much a position we can lose from, but we are in much, much better shape now. So we are going to zap here.
Keep up, keep up.
The elusive is very relevant here. Let's see what he's got. See what he plays. Right? We will play another zap.
Gotta go with the flow.
Double go hard. Okay. So it's tempting to double go hard the Cythria, but I don't think we can take that chance. We have to kill Fleet Feather Tracker. I really wonder if he has Relentless Pursuit. He's thinking about this a lot. He's gotta have it. Unless he's got like single combat? I don't know why he'd think about that though. Single combat would be phenomenal. He could just eat Twisted Fate, or just trade here. I mean, yeah, if he eats Twisted Fate, we kill Cythria, and that's a kind of big blowout, but...
My shield is yours.
Okay, I mean, I'm still gonna kill that. Because I can go hard twice. And it's not like I get nothing out of this, because that will still put go hards in my deck. And it still counts as casting it. I can still block Cythria, and I'll take 4. Which isn't that bad. We'll see what my opponent does. You're very close to leveling this Twisted Fate up.
Why are you here?
Okay, we'll block like that. Oh, I probably should have glimpsed.
Try again.
Yeah, that was kind of a mistake. What can we do here? We kind of want to leave Vengeance mana up at all costs, in case he's got single combat, or if he has Relentless Pursuit. Okay, so he has Relentless Pursuit. The question is, do we kill in response? I think the answer is actually no. So we'll take 5 here. Or actually, we don't even need to take 5 here. So I can Doom Beast here. So now I can block Bright Steel Protector. And he's now... Oh, wow, he's actually going to take this. Well, that's incredible.
Who's that you got there?
I mean, we'll do that. Yeah. I mean, we're in good shape here. Now we just salvage. Okay, yep. All right. Yeah, our opponent was pretty doomed from that position, because we just salvage, then we pass the turn, TF flips, and then we are really, really favored. I'm actually surprised that went that well, though our opponent kind of did it to themselves. They played into the Ruination a little bit harder than they had to. I think I played a little bit sloppier than I needed to as well. Like, I think I should have glimpsed there on that last turn when he swung the first time. I think that would have been for the best, would be to glimpse, because then I could actually risk potentially leveling up Twisted Fate once I've seen what he had. But yeah, no, it was a rough match for our opponent. Went pretty well for us, and we found our one of Ruination, so that's really good. We even had it in the starting hand, so we didn't even have to dig for it. So not bad. Still haven't gotten to pack your bags, but you know what? That's okay when we're winning. On to the next. Huh. Zombie Ash? That's true. That's wild. I haven't seen this deck in a hot minute. I don't even... Huh. I guess we'll keep Twisted Fate. I mean, Ruination would be good here. I kind of like the aggressive start here. Plus, a reliable way to level up Twisted Fate's not bad. Their removal for Twisted Fate's probably going to be fairly expensive.
Nothing like the stink
I mean, I guess they can, like, double up. They can double up, like, Vile Feasts. We are going to Fortune Croaker, I think. Or maybe not. Yeah, no, we'll get 2 damage in. Because we could Fortune Croaker, and if he has Vile Feast, then he kills this and then blocks here. Ooh, Vengeance is good. That is good. Ooh, Go Hard's nice. We'll like that.
winter take you.
Do I kill that? I think I do. Alright, I try anyways. I mean, we want to start casting these. Because I think Go Hard's going to be our most reliable way to win here. Because, oh yeah, okay, alright, perfect. We have a plan. We have a plan here. We need to get Pack Your Bags. And then we just want to hold Pack Your Bags. Or get Pack Your Bags very, very often and frequently. Because if we do that, even through a Harrowing, Pack Your Bags will wipe the board. Which is as good a thing as we could possibly ask for. Alright, we'll swing. See what they do. If they try to Vile Feast here, we can Glimpse. Although that was raising the temptation to play Twisted Fate to get the draw triggers off of it. But that's fine. Let's see what our opponent does. Dabbling Bjerg. So we'll play Twisted Fate. I think we play Twisted Fate and we red card? No, let's blue card. Let's just try to level him up. I think that's in our best interest. So we want Vengeance for the Ash that's probably coming down here. As tempting as it is to play Dreadway and try to set up a better Go Hard. Yeah, let's just Vengeance here. I think that's our best play. We don't want to even let her start to attack. Yeah, we'll Go Hard it. Set us up to attack with Twisted Fate if we want, although we probably just won't, to be honest. I think there's a non-zero... Well, I mean, yeah, he could Frostbite Twisted Fate. Yeah, we don't attack with Twisted Fate. That'd be a mistake. Ooh, that's sketchy. How many cards do we get up to here? Does he have Go Hard? Okay. Okay. Getting worried there. Okay, so we're at 3 of 8, so we can draw 2 to 5. Or we can draw 4 to 7. He's got to have another one, and that's why he went for this. A Withering Wail. That also would work. Is there any way to get out of this? Not really. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, I guess we go for this. Draw some cards, see what we can find. Zap's not bad. Do I play the Zap or do I play the Doom Beast? One of life's greatest questions. We'll play Zap.
Go with the flow.
Their life gain is going to be a bit rough.
Nothing escapes my...
Well, I was going to say, do I Go Hard the Bjerg? But, no, we kill the Avaros in the Sentry. And now we have Pack Your Bag set up. Pretty sure anyways. Pretty sure that was the third. And a ton of copies in our deck. Do we just kill that? I think we might. It's not like Crumble's going to really get better at any point.
Look out there!
It's probably worth playing deckhand, I think.
Left when I'm done.
They could just Vile Feast this barrel, but that's really not a huge loss. Oh, Pack Your Bag's pretty awesome. Let's draw some cards. Oh, how greedy can we be?
I've whipped up something special.
This is very greedy. Should have played Doom Beast.
Ancient things trapped in the ice.
Alright, we'll play this before
Those
dealing
who
any
want in on
damage.
this.
We're hoping they play Ash. Alright, well. We'll go for this. I mean, it's gonna wipe the board, I suppose, regardless. Avalanche is a big blowout for us. Withering Whale, not as much. Interesting. So, we're pretty much just assuming that Nash comes down here, right? We got the full 7 damage off, though. What's he got? Oh, that's actually pretty good. No Ash, though. Presumably coming next turn. Is it worth getting the damage in? Yeah, I think it is.
I'll protect the villages.
What else you got? Okay, sure. So he's just trying to keep his life total high? I suppose that's pretty wise while we have these two beasts in hand. Well, that will help us find more go hards. Oh, well, there goes one. That's unfortunate. Pass turn. Ooh. Yeah, it's still fine, though.
Show me a target.
Ash is very close to leveling up, though. Wonder if it's... I don't know why you would ensure you grab the 0, though.
Best run while you can.
Well, she's in go hard range now, so that's pretty good.
Be nothing left when I'm done.
We are definitely gonna Doom Beast this turn, though. I mean, there is an argument for playing Pool Shark to draw more cards next turn, but... Okay, he has a Vile Feast. That's fine. We still deal a decent bit of damage. Well, that's pretty good right there, on its own.
Never lost a fair game, or played one. I'm a people person.
Okay. We're good with that. Okay. What do we want to do here?
A game. Go on then.
Watch the ball, folks.
I don't think we want to risk Twist of Fate.
These are our lands.
I think think we want to keep the possibility to draw a card. Harsh Winds? Harsh Winds would be pretty good for him.
No backing down.
Harsh Winds? I'm assuming Harsh Winds. Okay. So then he's gonna lose that? Okay. So what does he have, like harrowing? I mean, harrowing would be good for him. I think we actually sack that to draw cards. Because we are definitely most scared of a harrowing at this point. So Ruination would be our best find. How many cards left in the deck? 17. Ooh. How many ashes? 3 ashes. Let's draw some cards, I guess. Not that we can actually level him up here, though. Does that help me any, though?
Come
I don't think so.
I don't.
So we're dead, right? No matter what happens?
Swiftly now.
Yeah, I think we're dead no matter what
My
happens here.
aim is true.
Well, that's unfortunate. We couldn't find the answer. Our opponent had just enough. We really need the Ruination. We knew it, so unfortunate, but that's the game. Zombie Ash, not a good deck, but it did manage to just get there. Found just the right number of cards to find the win there. I definitely don't expect to see this deck again, though, because it's actually pretty bad. Just in general into most matchups. So, weird game. That's where we're a little more punished having the less Ruinations, but we needed hard removal there. We needed fast removal, we needed hard removal, we need some way to deal with that stuff. If we had Ruination, obviously that's the best answer. If we had another instant or burst speed draw spell, we could have won off that too, which would have been great. But the problem is we had not quite enough, because everything was pretty much slow speed. So like we could have played Zap and drawn one, we could have played Fortune Croaker and drawn one, but neither one of those would have actually... And I mean, I suppose Fortune Croaker was the better play there, just to draw a card and see what we find, because maybe there would have been some options. But yeah, we probably should have held the pack the bags longer, I'd say. Even though it did do a ton of damage, I think we probably should have held it longer because it was our only answer to a harrowing turn. But yeah, no, that's a bad deck, but unlucky for us in that game. So, oh well, on to the next. Alright, we are playing against all of the ancient Freljord Shadow Isles control decks, I guess. What's our best option for Anivia control? That's very, very hard to say. Unspeakable Horror is bad. Glimpse can be good. Pool Shark, I don't think we want at this point. Jagged Butcher for the aggro could be good. This matchup feels bad. Like I'm not gonna say anything more than that. This matchup just feels terrible. So good chance this does not go great for us. We're not gonna play these Pool Sharks because that is card draw we don't really want.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
I think this is worth doing, even though it sets me up for like an avalanche. It wasn't worth doing first because again, Vile Feast is almost guaranteed.
They're out there. I'll spot him.
Alright, I mean, we'll play Bull Shark this turn.
Go on then.
And we can still glimpse. Okay. We're fine with that. So Zap is our draw this turn. Alright, well that's fine. We'll just swing like this. Avalanche is too likely to play Zap first.
Ready the torches.
Okay.
Alert the village.
I'm fine with that. Get a decent bit of damage through. I think there's a high likelihood that we're gonna lose Zap regardless, so we might as well play him here. I think there's a very high likelihood that he has some like catalyst, maybe. Oh, there's the Avalanche. So he did have it. That's yeah. All right, cool. That's good to know. We'll glimpse the Zap so he can't kill it with something like Vile Feast. So we'll definitely get our cards. Start drawing towards better cards like that. Although, now that we know that there is in fact Avalanche, I mean, it was assumed, but now that we know for a fact that there is, it is a little bit harder to play Twisted Fate. Rune Nation, I mean, that could get me a surprise win. Alright, we are going to play Twisted Fate. We're going to draw a card. Gain some mana. Yeah, I mean, we assume he's going to die. I don't actually want to draw cards here, but at the same time, so if I cast that, I'll go down to... Ooh, I'm going to lose cards. I don't want him to gain that life, though. I think that might actually be very relevant. We are going to gain 1 mana here. Oh, hey, look, another Twist of Fate. Probably can't play whatever I draw here. Yeah, we're just going to lose a card. Please not go hard. No, that's actually pretty tragic, too. Guess we played Twisted Fate. Blue card again. I don't see Twisted Fate living at any point in this matchup, so
Blue as the serpentine.
I think it's fine to just run him out quickly. Crumbles, pretty actively
Something
terrible.
ancient stirs.
Let's see. We'll play Pool
Go on
Shark,
then.
I guess.
The ball, folks.
4, 8, 9. Okay. Well, that will also make something, so I guess we'll play this.
Knows me now.
And then we'll just pass. Draw some cards. There we go. There's a go hard. That's kind of ideal.
I bring the storm.
Something the matter.
We'll throw him away.
A world in perfect
I mean,
stillness.
Twisted Fate's almost certainly going to die, but we're not gonna give it to our opponent.
Scratched.
So we'll go hard here. I think there's a legitimate chance that our that our best play is just to go for Pack Your Bags, using stuff like Ruination and Vengeance to buy us time. So I could draw 2. Okay, so I can't draw enough, right? So I can draw 4 in response to this, but it's still 1 short. So, yeah. That won't work. Well, we do have another Twisted Fate, at least. What am I doing? Let's not glimpse. Oh, wait, hang on. So I can do that.
Lost a fair game.
Kill the Anivia, and then... yeah, we can pitch him, although he's not going to actually... Yeah, never mind. That's not going to do that much for us. Because he's already gained a ton of life. We'll kill the egg. Although we are just setting ourselves up for some unfortunate rekindler. But I think we do have to do something. Alright, I guess we'll salvage. Ugh. Don't want to see it go hard like that. Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. What's he got? Rekindler. Oh, that is highly unfortunate. Yeah, we'll play Fortune Croaker, draw a card. Looking for Go Hard, but no such luck. He's one turn away from leveling up. I think we'll play Jagged Butcher anyways.
For what I've done.
Actually, you know what? Do we just swing wide? Because we'll force 4 damage through? Is that worth it? I mean, we're going to lose all this stuff eventually anyways. So I think dealing a little bit of damage out is not a bad idea. Alright, well. Ooh. That does kill Anivia. Interesting. Not really worth ruinationing.
Snow,
Okay.
wind, and ice.
Bad if our opponent didn't attack, but so yeah, we'll take 4. That's fine.
Strike them down.
I mean, I like the idea of ruination, killing everything and then killing the eggs, but we're not really at the place where we can afford to do that. All right, so our goal here is to go hard, kill Anivia, and then kill the egg. That won't quite work. This is risky business. Okay, we get our cards. What do we want to do? Guess we'll drain them? I don't think that's actually going to work, though. Alright, so Niveas are leveled up. I mean, there is a non-zero number of places where this Signar actually just wins me the game.
Like a fish in water.
Unlikely, but it is possible. Man, there's so many things that go wrong. Well, we're gonna go for it. I assume they Ruination now. Or Avalanche would be pretty good. For them. Not so much for me. Okay, well, there's the Ruination. Saw that coming. Well, we do get to kill one of their Anivias. That is the good news, but if they have a Harrowing to back it up, I mean, we do have Ruination, but still not ideal. But yeah, one Anivia down. We have Pack Your Bags now, but we've run out of card draw.
The Freljord's eternal guardian.
Yeah, I mean, we could kill that. We could kill that, plus Unspeakable Horror to kill the egg.
Time to reflect.
I mean, this seems fine. Still not all that great, but something. Do I play Deckhand? Okay.
Forever.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
I've whipped up something special.
Play Deckhand. Get a Keg. Keg's probably not relevant, but could get some extra damage off Pack Your Bags. Not when we don't find it, though. Oh, man, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, well. Let's see if we can fool our opponent. Let's see if we can fool our opponent.
One candle for every soul.
Does that count?
Packed 'em good.
I mean, we didn't actually need the damage boost. Well, let's go for pack your bags. I'm sure I still have Go Hearts in the deck, but that was sad seeing two of them go like that. I wonder if Elise was actually the better play.
This'll take the chill off.
Alright.
Let's talk about your attack.
Okay. And we're getting him to a low health point. We have Ruination still. We're at 20 health. That's not too bad.
Begins.
We don't have card draw though. Do we just Ruination? Is that worth it? I'm not sure that it is. Alright, we'll let our opponent attack.
Wind and ice.
Best run while you can.
Yeah, that drops us 13. That's fine. So we're hoping our opponent doesn't have Vengeance. And we're just gonna play Gangplank, Crescent Guardian, and see what happens.
Bilgewater is mine and mine.
I suppose we should have played Elise, Crescent Guardian, Gangplank. I forgot that we'd be able to play the Elise.
The deaths complain.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, that was a mistake. I'll play all these. My opponent's board state is getting rather scary. I mean, we'll just swing.
Out from the darkness.
We're almost to the point that these will be
I
lethal.
endure. I protect this place.
Okay.
I will be
I guess we
your
try to kill the Anivia that's down. Right? I mean, that's the best play, is to kill this egg.
Leave your bags at the door.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We did not want that to happen. Hopefully we get the drain off. Okay, we did. That's good. That said, we take, what, 4, 10, 16, so that's lethal? Yeah. Alright, well, didn't work out. Our opponent had everything. Unfortunate. I definitely think that's one of the rougher matchups. I think Freljord Shadow Isles with the traditional decks are fairly rough for this matchup. I think they're very, very terrible decks into the rest of the meta, but I think they are very good against us, and that's what we just saw on display there. I wouldn't expect to see that often, and yeah, I do think that's going to be a problem for us. I think probably you just need to, well, I guess get off a bunch of go hards and then pack your bags, because they don't have a lot of ways to gain life potentially, but our opponent's running the full life gain package, so basically I don't think we had any avenue to winning at any point against that deck. I think the Zombie Ash deck was much more of an our opponents got lucky. I think Anivia Control is just a bad matchup. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, not the worst outcome, but definitely would have hoped for better. Alright, so how do we do in our matches? Try to be high energy here, because I just played 3 games in a row of Freljord Shadow Isles Control. And not ramp, or rush ramp, because we're totally fine into that matchup. That's not a terrible matchup for us. But Anivia Control, which isn't a deck, and Zombie Ash, which also isn't a deck in the meta right now. But maybe that's just an answer to go hard mid-range, because those are unwinnable matchups. and I played 3 of them in a row. So the deck is currently for me 6-8, 43% win rate, which is definitely a little bit sad. But I had a string of 5 games in a lot, 5 losses in a row with the deck when I was starting out. So that's definitely heavily swayed the numbers. So considering the last 8 games or 7 games, I'm 4-3. But that is 3 losses to Freljord Shadow Isles control, the old deck. So if that does make a big comeback and really come back large, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a pretty big problem, in fact. The deck is going to have a very, very hard time against that. So it really depends on where the meta goes. I mean, I could see Anivia Control making a bit of a comeback, to be quite honest, because it's not a terrible matchup into the Ezreal decks now that the Ezreal can't combo kill, essentially. So you can just hold these single removal spells to deal with their threats one at a time. So I could definitely see that being good into the Ezreal decks. I could also see it being good into things like, Burn. It's always been pretty good into aggro decks because of the life gain and the board wipe effects. It should be absolutely terrible into Bilgewater Spring. So we might be back on Bilgewater Spring for grinding if this is where it ends up. But I don't think it's a bad sign for the Go Hard Midrange deck that it's just losing to one kind of deck. It's just unfortunate that I got 3 games in a row on that. So I didn't even record the 3rd game because it's literally pointless. There's almost nothing you can do. You just have to draw a bunch of cards and just get lucky and hope they miss removal on a key turn that lets you win the game, or that they miss the life gain and you're able to run them down quick enough. But that is extraordinarily unlikely. What we can say here is that Draven Jinx, pretty solid matchup. I've lost to it once, but I've beaten it twice. So it does perform very well into that matchup because of the board wipes and all that. And we saw Banner Scouts, I actually thought was going to be a harder matchup. Did well into that. I've beaten Elise and Dur. 2 of my games have been against the mirror match, so I'm 1-1 on that. Ash Trundle Frostbite I beat with the deck, so I really do think Zombie Ash, we would probably beat that deck more often than not. I think they got pretty lucky and we got a bit unlucky, or just kind of played poorly, to be honest. I should have just held to pack your bags for the harrowing turn and just tried to trade unit for unit until we got to that point. And just really focused on being the control deck that kills Ash and just try to grind them out with pack your bags, because we should be able to out-kill their package, essentially. Their units should be easier to deal with, and we can't mill out versus them that can, essentially. I mean, it's not that we can't mill out, but we're less likely to mill out than they are, since we keep adding more copies of cards to our deck. And eventually, if they run out of units, then we can't keep doing that, but then if they run out of units, they can't kill us. So that's a miserable way to play it, but that should work. Anivia is way more problematic because Anivia herself is way more problematic. It's very hard to deal with her and the egg. So that one's kind of bad, but I think Zombie Ash, our opponent, just got lucky, and I played fairly poorly for him having not played the matchup before, so I actually don't think it's too bad for that. And then I got a really, really weird loss way early on in the deck when I was still learning it against championless Poros. Which is definitely the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened. And also, I can't believe that deck actually managed to find a win. It was Freljord Piltover, no champion Poros. That has got to be the spiciest Poro brew I've ever seen in my life. It was obviously a Von Yip deck, but yeah, that was pretty funny. And I played Bilgewater Burn and Ezreal Swain once, and I lost against both. But that, again, was in the beginning. And I think this deck has been a bit tricky to get a hang of, essentially. I think it's a little bit easier than Bilgewater Spring, probably, but I think you should expect a decent bit of basically room to learn to play. And I didn't play any normals. I hit Diamond right before I started testing out this deck, so I just took it into Ranked and played it there because I didn't really have much to lose as far as LP goes. So I just played it all in Ranked, so this is literally my my extent of the deck, minus maybe 1 or 2 games in normal that I played between when I first picked up the deck and now, because I did play a couple of games on it in normals as well. But generally speaking, I think the deck is really, really good. If we are seeing the meta shift towards Anivia control, then this deck's going to have to get trashed, essentially, because it just cannot win that matchup. I legitimately believe that. We just don't have enough pound for pound to deal with all their Anivias, not with triple Harrowing, triple Rekindler, plus the fact that Anivia has to be killed twice anyways. That's just not a viable matchup. There's nothing we could do about that. So hopefully the meta doesn't shift that way, because I think the meta's in a great spot right now, and if we go that way, it's going to be pretty boring, pretty miserable, pretty awful just in general. But I mean, it's not that Nivea control doesn't have counters, but hopefully that's not the case. Should talk more about this deck though than my thoughts about the meta. The meta being what it has been for the weekend, and from what we've seen, I think this deck is a very solid shot. I don't think the Ezreal Swain matchup is doomed by any means, and like I said, Draven Jinx is very, very popular right now, and I think this deck is exceptional against that. Banner Scouts, we can hold our own. I think we might have gotten a little bit lucky, but we can pretty consistently find Ruination with the amount of card draw in our deck, so maybe not even that lucky. And then Bilgewater Burn, I think that was a little bit unlucky, though I do think the deck will perform worse into Bilgewater Burn than it does into discard aggro, because a lot of our stuff is really good against discard aggro and might not be so good against Bilgewater, depending on how their hand curves out. If they have all the 1 health units, then it's going to be phenomenal, but if they don't, a lot of their stuff can survive Twisted Fate, 1 damage to everything, or a Go Hard, so discard aggro doesn't have the same luxury, usually, so I think our matchup's a little bit worse against Bilgewater Burn, but I think we can definitely hold our own against all of the aggro decks in the format, and even against some of the control decks we could do a little bit better, but that's definitely where the deck struggles the most, as we've seen. Midrange should be a little more of a coin flip, essentially, but aggro should be favored, midrange should be okay, control's kind of bad, so depending on where the meta's at, I think that's the best way to evaluate this deck for whether you want to play it or not. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a very fun deck, in my opinion. So if you're looking to mess around with Go Hard, this is going to be an even better Go Hard deck, I would say. So you'll pretty consistently hit it, you'll pretty consistently pull it off, you'll pretty consistently find other pieces. We did finally manage to get some pack your bags, but ironically we won all of our games without packing our bags once, but we lost all the games that we had pack your bags, so that is a little unfortunate for showcasing the card in the deck, but you know, that is how it goes sometimes, so a little unfortunate, but not all that unsurprising. Like I said, the control matchup's just bad, and that's what we lost to both times. So, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe for more videos just like it.